guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. So today I have a very special guest, my mom. So today we are going to be doing the trend, asking my mom questions you're too afraid to ask yours. So let's just get right into it. So first question, how do you make a close mother-daughter relationship?
I think mutual respect. Like, it's important to respect your child and for the child to respect the parent. And then I think being honest. Like, I think it's really important to be honest and share things with your child, because they're probably having questions and thinking about things, and at least if you address it, they know they can come to you.
Very good, I agree. And I think that makes it that then you don't feel awkward coming to them about things. Because I've definitely asked her a lot of questions, and I don't feel weird about it because
it's kind of our relationship. Yeah. Exactly. And I think then that kind of builds trust, that you know it's safe to talk about things that maybe are awkward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How do I tell my mom I got a boyfriend if she doesn't want me to have one?
I think, like, starting off with, I respect you, Mom, so that's why I'm telling you this. I respect your opinion and what you wanted me to do, but I felt really, I don't know, like, attracted to this person, or I felt like we really connected. And it wasn't like I was trying to disobey you, but I feel like it's important to be honest with you, and I want you to trust me. Yeah. So I'm telling you before you find out.
You're not trying to be sneaky, you're more trying to include them in it.
Because I think if you start off that way, then the parent already feels respected, so they're a little bit more open to saying, like, okay, well, I don't agree with that, or I'm glad you told me, but I'm angry, or...
Yeah, and also, too, I feel like their reaction might be better, because then they're also trying to make it that, like, well, they came to me, I don't want to just shut them down right away, because they were opening up.
I think most parents, if they feel like you've done something good, even if you've done something bad, they're gonna, like, try to focus, at least acknowledge the good part.
Yeah, I agree with that. How'd you get over a boyfriend?
I think initially distraction, like distracting yourself, just keeping yourself busy, like fun activities. I definitely think you need your family to, like, help support you, try to distract you, take you out. Yes. If you're having fun, you might have, like, sporadic moments of feeling depressed, or like, oh, I miss this person. Yeah. But if you're having a good time, it's hard to feel sad. Agreed. So I think initially you just need distraction, because you kind of can't talk yourself out of feeling bad at first. Yeah, you know? Because that's all you're focused on, like tunnel vision. Yeah, and I think emotionally you're upset, so... But I think distraction and then little by little talking through the reasons why you had the breakup, what you think your part was, what you think the other person's part was. Yeah. You know, I feel like I could have done this better, but I also think they weren't open to what I had to say, or whatever it is. I agree with that, and I think that landing on your family is a good thing, because I know that there was a lot of nights I just slept in your guys' bed. And, but, like, and I've talked about this in my other videos, but, like, if you have a routine with someone, like FaceTime before you go to bed, then those things are going to feel so much worse when you don't do them. So replacing them with, like you said, like distractions won't make you focus on them. And maybe also, too, not feeling lonely. You know, like, you can even have friends, and, I mean, whatever works for you, friends, family, but you happen to live with your family, so it's, like, easy for them to fill in those gaps of you just not sitting by yourself thinking about, like, oh, we used to always talk at this time. Right? Yes, exactly. Yeah. Tips on how to feel comfortable to talk to your mom about boys and sex. I'm gonna be honest, I think the sex talk is awkward. Yeah. Like, it's awkward for parents, it's awkward for the child, adult, you know, whatever age they are when they're talking about it, but I think you try to play it cool. Yeah. You know, you're like, no, talk to me, like, tell you know, but inside you're like, ew, this makes me want to vomit. Yeah, like, you know, I'm thinking about that, because that's like your child. Just like you don't want to think about your parents having sex, you don't want to think about your children having sex. Yeah. It's just a weird, but it's just, like, a necessary thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if your child does feel like they think they're ready, you want them to be able to talk it through with you. Yeah. And what if they talk it through with someone who, like, gives them bad advice? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you pick good friends, but, like, what if you have a friend who's like, don't worry about it, don't use protection. Doesn't matter. It's fine, they're, you know, you just want to make sure that they've, like, worked through all the emotional and intellectual parts of doing that. And I think you have a better chance of, like, someone that's maybe older, experienced, someone you trust. So, I think it's awkward, but I would just, you know, hopefully approach whichever parent you're more comfortable with and say, you know, I would, like, graduate into it, like, so-and-so and I are in this, like, really serious relationship, you know, and I've been thinking about this.
Agreed. And I think too that as much as the first time talking about like just that in general is a little bit awkward, I think the more then you talk about it,
sure.
because like I feel like even like not even for yourself personally, but just talking about that subject in general, even as like the child, you feel a little bit like, oh, like how is that gonna go?
What are they gonna think? Or
Yeah.
you also don't know like the initial reaction. You're like, are they gonna freak out?
Yeah.
Or are they gonna be mad? Are they gonna be disappointed? You know what I mean? So as a parent, I think it's important to support them, but also give them guidance. Like maybe in a respectful way, say, do you really think that you're ready for that? What do you think that would mean for your relationship? What do you think that would mean for you?
Like the logical and supportive. Because that's probably something you also won't get from your friends as much. Like I hate to say it, you can have friends, like they're great for so many reasons, but I think talking to a parent about that, they do play out the like practical thing. Like if you got pregnant, like that wouldn't be good. You know what I mean?
Know that this is a possibility.
Exactly. How do you know when it's time to break up with someone?
I think if you feel like that person isn't meeting you, let's say halfway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's times in a relationship where like one person's the stronger person in the relationship. Like maybe you don't have as much stress going on, so you're the creative one, you think of things to do.
Yeah.
You know, you're able to like bring up the relationship, but it should take turns at least, if nothing else. And I think if you're more unhappy than you're happy, and that other person isn't willing to work on you both being happy.
Yeah. Or if they say, like, I feel like another thing is actions speak louder than words. Like, if you're always saying, like, oh, no, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to change, but then you never do, like, you know, like, well, that's probably just who they are then.
Right,
you know?
right. So, yeah, no, I would say if you're really unhappy and they're not working with you.
Yeah.
They don't have to fix it. You both have to fix it, but if they're not willing to work.
Okay, what do you do if someone cheats on you? Cut them off! That's my opinion.
I guess that's, like, a personal thing, but, like, to me, that's a game changer.
Agreed.
Like, I feel like I don't know that I'd ever be able to trust that person again. And I think it does so much damage. I mean, I think some people can maybe recover from that, and maybe it makes their relationship stronger.
Yeah.
My, like, gut reaction, which I'm not saying that it's right, is like, that was too much.
Agreed.
Like, you crossed the line.
What do you think is a good age to move out?
I'm going to be honest. I think that's, like, a really tough question. In terms of, like,
It's
one thing if you get like a job, let's say you decide to go to college and you get a job right out of college and you're making awesome money, you know, financially you may be ready, emotionally, I don't know, like
emotionally
do you want to
be my back.
Do you want to come back to an empty house, you know, and maybe you get a roommate and then it's not an empty house, or you get a place with your sister or like a friend, or so I'm not saying it can't work out, but I think you have to be like financially stable, emotionally.
Which is different for everyone.
Kind of even intellectually, like you have to have a budget, you have to be able to like be on top of utilities and the things that come along with like ownership or renting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think first and foremost, like just money is your first place.
Yeah,
right?
like can you afford living on your own?
And you also want to make like smart decisions as a young adult so that hopefully you have a better like, you know, future life.
Because you don't want to mess it up kind of in the beginning, like going somewhere super expensive and then you're like 30 with kids and you're like, oh my god, now I'm poor.
Right. Oh.
How do you bring up wanting to go on birth control?
I mean, obviously I would think you would have had the sex talk. So I actually feel like that would be an easy transition.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you didn't have the sex talk, then this is kind of the sex talk. So it's either before or, you know, at the same time. But I think that once you've had like that sex talk with your parents,
then the boundaries like kind of down, you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I am assuming that most parents, if you even bring up the discussion of sex in that same conversation, they're going to be talking about birth control on some form or another. Condoms, like the pill, whatever it is that you decide is the right choice for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to say it would probably happen with that talk.
Agreed. And I feel like too, in that talk, kind of like what you're saying, the parent would probably say like, well, are you being safe? And then they'd be like, well, I want to go on birth control or whatever it is.
And I think most parents definitely feel like they would, even if they're uncomfortable with the talk or if they're like sad because they didn't feel like you were ready or whatever, they're going to want it that you're safe. So they're going to, even if they're like begrudgingly talking about it, they're going to say, okay, well, what would be the next steps?
I agree. How can you tell if someone is a fake friend, and what do I do when I know my friend is fake?
I think basic is like truthfulness.
Yeah.
And that can take like many forms. Like, so sometimes it's someone making plans with you and then backing out and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I had something with my family, and then you see on social media they're
like,
somewhere else with
partying.
somebody else. So like that, like just basic truthfulness of like you're not who you said you were, or you're not doing what you said you were doing.
Yeah.
So I think like it would be like bailing on get-togethers would be the first one. Not having your back with other people. So like if you're in a group setting and maybe you told that friend something in confidence and they kind of bring it up into the group.
Yes.
Or if...
like they don't have your best interest. Like I feel like those are all things you can tell if a friend has your
that's
interest.
a really good way to put it. Best interest. Because like someone that loves you and truly cares about you is going to try to avoid you being embarrassed.
Yes.
Or like avoid you looking bad or things like that. So if you feel like frequently in other friend groups or in like group settings they're making you look bad and you feel like it's intentional,
you're like, okay.
Bad.
And I feel like too, if they like switch up, like kind of like that, but if you, when we're talking just you and I, you act like you're such a good friend, you would never tell this, and then you turn on me in front of other people, you're like, okay.
Yeah, different vibe when you're in a group.
Agreed. And what do you think, if you kind of figured out that they're fake, what do you think you should do about it?
I don't know, I feel like that's hard because you can't change somebody.
Yes.
I mean, I think if you care about the friendship, you should try to at least give an effort, like in terms of saying like, hey, I feel like this is an issue in our friendship.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to try to avoid the like, you are such a bad friend, you are a liar, you are, because people are defensive to that and they don't really want to change when you're attacking them. But I definitely think presenting it in a way that's like, I noticed that you said you were going to get together with me and then you broke the plans and I saw that you were with so-and-so.
Yeah, like that kind of hurt.
That makes me feel bad in our friendship.
And some of it could be, I mean, I have a hard time thinking like this, but some of it really could be unintentional.
Yeah.
You know?
Like some people are just flighty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How do I not feel pressured to do stuff with a boy?
I would hope that you're in the relationship with some level of trust that you're like, I'm not comfortable with this.
Even if it's not like a boyfriend, but just being comfortable enough to talk and be like, I don't want to do that or something.
I think if you don't feel that confidence yourself, like some people don't have that where they feel strong that they're like, I don't know, I'd feel embarrassed to say no.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think fake it till you make it. Act like you're a strong like character from a movie that you were like, oh, she was like such a bad A.
Yes.
You know, like she'd never put up like Katniss ever did.
Yeah. Literally, guys, when I was younger and I was like getting low-key bullied, that's what she told me. She said, don't care, pretend that you're Katniss Everdeen and that you're so, because it's like a strong woman fake it.
Yeah, like find what, you know, it's relative to you.
Yes. I agree.
Find someone strong. I mean, maybe if it's your own mother, an aunt, a grandmother, you know, it sounds funny, but when we were watching like that Red Talk table, when I don't know her name because I've only watched it once or twice, but the grandmother was so strong. Like,
Didn't
I felt
care.
like she was such a strong woman that I was like she commands respect, and you know, when someone's like that, it's admirable. So try to mimic them, and you know, like that, fake it till you make it.
I completely agree with that. That's very good. And for our last question, when do you think it's the right time to marry the person that you are dating or have a child with them?
I think you'll know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're in a relationship for a period of time and it's going great. I mean, I do think time does tell you some stuff. Like I don't know if you can, and I'm not saying it can't ever happen, but I don't know if you are in a place to make a judgment after like a month or two. Yeah. Because maybe they haven't shown you all
sides that you don't know.
Yeah. So I would think spending more and more time together hopefully helps, like, that you know that person better.
Agreed.
So I would say, you know, just that you feel like the relationship is healthy, that you're happy, they're happy, that you're in alignment with like a lot of the same important things about life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are your goals for life? I don't think they have to be exactly the same, but, you know.
Line up somewhat. And I feel like
we want to have kids, we don't want to have kids. That's kind of a big thing. Or
exactly. And even some of the things, like, if you are, I mean, not that obviously I've had a child, but, like, if you were thinking about having a child with a person, like, kind of like that, like, do your morals even or how you want to raise the child match up? Because it probably seems like, oh, it's fine if we don't agree on, like, for example, hitting. Like, some people are like, you should hit your kid. Some people are like, you will not lay your hands on my kid. Which is you. And so it's like, if you disagree that's kind of a big thing.
It is.
You know?
And then you're kind of either undermining the other parent,
Mm-hmm.
like what they think is their parenting style.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, you know, there's going to be some things that are negotiable.
Yes.
And then there's going to be, and you're like, okay, I can kind of see your point. I'm willing to do this and this with our parenting. Like if you want to be a vegetarian or, you know, there's just things that have come up for me personally.
Yeah.
So some stuff you might be able to navigate those waters, and then other stuff might be like a hard no. Yeah, like you won't hit our kids.
Agreed.
Or yeah, I believe that that's important. Whatever.
Yes.
You know.
And I think too, like as much as it would probably like hurt you, but if for example both of your like hard no's are about completely opposite things,
right,
it might shed light on like, well then maybe we really shouldn't take that step. Yeah, exactly. Okay guys, well that is all the questions for my video today. Thank you so much for being my guest. I think your answers are so good. You're so smart. So that's my mom. Everyone comment down below. Thanks for being on my YouTube channel because she's the best. Bye guys.